welcome back to Gapey's Garden. It's the end of another growing season and most of the garden has been put to bed, and before I show you the 2019 garden time lapse, I wanted to show you what is growing right now in the garden. Here we have the herb bed, and most of the herbs are pretty much done for the year. We do have some thyme still growing. I have two different varieties of thyme here, lemon thyme and a variegated thyme. The sage is pretty much done, and so is the rosemary. So not much growing in there right now. The raspberries are all pretty much died back, and I'm going to be trimming some of those before spring. And then we've got our apple trees, and I have a layer of leaf mulch under the trees here. So this is the Whitney crabapple that I planted in the spring. And then this one over here is an older Braeburn apple. And we've also got some, these are just leaves that fell off of this tree. The leaves on the other one here are from our front yard maple trees. And then this is where these two beds are going to be figs. So I'm going to be getting some fig cuttings here pretty soon, and I'll be planting those in that space as well as this space. And this is where I had some kale, and I think those were Brussels sprouts growing. So the chickens have been nibbling on that when I let them out to free range. And then we've got our Brooks plum here, and all those leaves have also fallen off, and I have not yet pruned the fruit trees, so I'll be doing that here in the next month or two. And then we've got our bees here. We've got 3 beehives, and they are all still alive. It's pretty cold right now, so they're not out and about today, but when you get some really sunny weather, they usually come out. And then here we have the mint. I've got, I think, 7 different varieties of mint in here, but it's pretty much died back. That's also some lemon balm there. And we've got our asparagus here, which I've also put a layer of leaf mulch on. You can see some dead ferns kind of sticking up there, but I've pretty much trimmed those back and composted the stalks. And then we've got our blueberries here. We've got, I think, 10 different varieties of blueberries in this bed. There's 2 evergreen varieties. So this is the sunshine blueberry, so it has leaves still while all the rest have pretty much fallen off. But it gets a really pretty colored leaf there in the wintertime. And then we've got one more evergreen variety. I'm not sure if this is the same variety. It looks like it's a bit taller, so it might not be the same. I didn't plant this one, so I'm not sure what it is, but it has similar colored leaves, so it might be. And then we've got the raised beds here. There's nothing growing in this half over here, but we've got a little bit of stuff growing over here. We've got a few carrots in there, as well as some leeks growing up there, and some kale. And you can see these piles of cover here. This is actually a shade cloth, but I use that to cover anything that's growing in these beds while the chickens free range, because we don't want them digging those up. And then on this bed, we just have some carrots here that I planted a couple months ago that are growing pretty slowly, but they might give us some carrots here in the next couple months. And we've got that, that was a leftover celery, but I'm just letting it grow, and the chickens are kind of digging around it. They don't really eat the celery. And then we've got some old onions that I left in the ground. They might, if the chickens don't dig them up, they might grow and flower in the spring. And then in this bed, I grew some cover crop here of buckwheat, which I cut back, and I also put a layer of leaf mulch down in there. And we have some mustard greens here in this bed, along with some radishes, and I believe those are onions also mixed in there. And that's pretty much in those 3 raised beds there. Let's take a walk over to the last raised bed that's over here. So in here we've got some more leeks, and something has been nibbling on the leeks in this bed. You can see they're all pretty short and stubby. I've got 2 rows of leeks there, but I think either mice or I'm not sure what have been topping those off. And then under, I have a plastic cover over this bed, or half of this bed, because this is where the garlic is, and we had about 4 inches of rain within a couple of days, and I didn't want the garlic to get rotted with all the moisture, so I went ahead and did that. And there's also a layer of leaf mulch that we put in this bed as well. And the last area we have is the in-ground bed over here, which doesn't really have much growing. I left a few kale plants in here that the chickens have been nibbling on. We've got that one there. This one's too tall for them to reach the top of, so it's got a little bit of growth still on there. This one is pretty much dead. I'll probably pull that one out. That's actually the purple flowering broccoli. And then we've got a couple more kales here for the chickens to snack on. And I do have this last one covered or surrounded by a fencing so the chickens don't nibble on that one, because I have been harvesting that one. And then the rest of this bed, we put some more leaf mulch in this bed, and the chickens have been coming in here and scratching around and digging around, so they've been pretty much helping to fertilize this particular bed, which could use some help because it's one of the newer beds, and we didn't bring in any soil, so it's pretty compact and needs more matter in it. So hopefully that helps. And that's pretty much it in the garden right now. Let's get on to seeing the 2019 time lapse. Thanks for watching, and Happy New Year.